Righto you lot, it's a bad day to be a ball of urea. Today I'm going to be running you through the different ways of calibrating for fertiliser. There's a couple of different ways. You can do it on the ground like this. You can do aerial load weighing or an operation calibration when it's sort of calibrating itself as it's flying. It's not the most riveting stuff, but it does beat telling the cocky why all of the fert is on half the block. But what you'll need is a bucket to measure out the product that comes out of the drone, some product of your choice depending on what you're using, and a set of scales to weigh it all out. We have the P150 Max here set up with the spreader on, and it's sitting on these buckets just so we can slide that underneath and catch all of the product that comes out of it. So we'll get into the ground calibration now. We have 3 different types of augers that you can run in the spreader. You have a large, which is for your your bigger ferts like your urea, your supers, and your lime prills. Then you go down to a medium, which is for like general use grass seeds, from 15 to 40 kilos a hectare. Any lower of a rate than that, you're going to want a small auger. And then your smaller augers for the lower rates and things like slug baits and like general small seeds like clovers and things like that. So we're going to go into our settings, go into a granule type. We're going to add one, so that's a new granule, so that once we've done this calibration, that's saved. So if you do come across another farmer or grower that wants to use the same fert, you've still got that calibration, so you don't need to do it every job as long as you're using the same product. So we'll just call this one sustain because that's what we're using. Come through, create and calibrate. It's just loading. We do have a large auger inside the spreader at the moment, so it is saying large on our screen as well, and we're going to do a manual ground calibration. Confirm. Ready. So it says here, please fill the container with enough granules. We'll just put about 40 kilos in. So I'll load it in now. So now we'll just tick the sufficient granules loaded box and hit next. Place an empty container under the outlet. We've already done that. Empty container's been placed. Start discharging. So now that's going to be discharging into this container here. So it's going to run a bit of fert out. It is good to just keep the auger fed because you will see it bore out a bit of a hole in there. So now, as you can see, it's stopped. So that's all good. So now we'll grab the scales a little bit closer. Drag out our fert. Now these are only 20 kilo scales, so I'm going to have to break it up a little bit, but that's no worries. Just tip a bit out. Into the bucket there. So there we have 12.1 kilos. So the drone will ask you to put it in the amount of grams that the fert weighs. So if it's 12.1 kilos, it's obviously 12,100 grams. So we've added that onto the calculator. And you can just tip this back into the drone. That bucket is 14.4 kilos. So that's 14,400 grams. So all up that equals 26,500 grams, which is 26.5 kilos. So now I'll type that in on our controller. 26,500 grams, submit. There we go. Calibrated, complete. So now, as you can see up on the top there, we have the sustain fit calibrated in the drone with the large feeder. So that's the end of a ground calibration. After this, you're pretty much ready to go straight into operation. Yeah, the ground calibration is probably more commonly used, but now we're going to go into the aerial load weighing and the operation calibration. So everybody, we're now in the back paddock, and I'm going to run you through the aerial load weighing. So that basically tells you how much product you have in the drone, the weight of the product in the drone. It's very similar to what you do with the Revo sling when you do the load weighing, so you can see how much weight you're lifting. But what's basically going to happen is the drone's empty at the moment. It's going to fly up to about 5 meters, hover there for a little bit, figure some things out, and it's going to land, and then that'll be like an empty run, and then we're going to put 60 kilos of product in it. It does say at least 50 on the controller, but we find we get better results when we use about 60 kilos. So what we're going to do is put all that in there, and then it's going to go up, do the same thing, hover at 5 meters for a little bit, and then land, and then that's going to calibrate its weight because it knows its load versus how much product is in it. So we're going to go into it now. So back into settings, back into the spreader, and then underneath the manual spreading test, it's just aerial load weighing, weight calibration down the bottom here, and then it's going to tell you that it'll do the vertically to 5 meters and everything like that. There's a few other requirements: drone battery level at least 30% and prepare a load of at least 50 kilos, but we're going to do 60. So we'll just stand back a bit now. So now I'm going to start the fly only calibration. So it's just a tick tick swipe, just like starting an autonomous flight. 3, 2, 1, countdown, taking off. So as you can see, I'm not doing anything here. The drone's just hovering at 5 meters, and you can see there it's calibrating. You just have to keep the drone still, just let it do its own thing. Fly only calibration done. We just tick land in place. It's going to come down and land. Going to load her up. Clip the lids down good. Going to back up again. So now it says here on the screen, it's going to do the same stuff. So the payload in kilos, we're going to add it as 60 kgs, which we've done. Start calibration. It's going to ask us the same thing. Now the drone's just going to do its fly up to 5 meters and hover. Once again, I'm not touching anything, just let it do its thing. Now it started calibrating, as you can see on the screen. Calibration done. We'll just hit land in place. It's going to come down and land. So now that means that it has calibrated. So now I'll show you guys how you can actually find that information when you're flying. So what I'll do first is I'll just take off. Sweet. So now the drone's hovering there. As you can see here, up in the top there, it says medium for the granule container. So if you tap on that, it'll come up and see, now you can see our payload in there, which is varying a bit, so it's about 60 kilos. which is wicked. Then another way you can see it is by going into the settings. So in the top right corner, that little arrow, go into the spreader again, and you can see it there too, aerial load weighing 61 kilos, 60 odd kilos in there. Let's bring it back down now. And that's the aerial load weighing. So we're in the last stage of our video now. So we're going to do the manual flight calibration on this foot spreader. So what this does is essentially, for the first load, the calibration is going to be quite inaccurate. It is good to use it on the back of another calibration. So for example, if you've already done one on the ground, you want to make it a bit more accurate, you can do it like this. Or if you're going from two products that are quite similar, like for example, like ammo to sustain, which are both, you know, those little balls that's just, it might be a difference in, you know, how dense it is or how heavy it actually is. This aerial calibration is good for that. But yeah, so it will be inaccurate on the first load because the drone's trying to figure out how much it's doing. But after that, all of the loads afterwards will be accurate because it'll be calibrated. You can use your aerial load weighing if you don't have scales on site. So you could take off, have a look at the weight in the drone, and then use that as the number for your calibration. We know how much we've put in there because we've put 3 20-kilo bags in. So we're just going to use that. So what we're going to do now is go into our settings, back to our spreading system, and then we're going to go spreading calibration. I'm just going to calibrate this over the top of the calibration we did over in the yard there, the ground calibration. So you're going to get back in there, obviously choose which spreader you want, which auger you want, sorry. Manual flight calibration, select that, confirm. It's going to ask you a few things. Then you're going to go to operation screen because it's going to want you to set up an operation. You don't have to do the whole operation with it calibrating. It's just the first load that it'll be doing it calibrating. So you go to operation screen, acknowledge this. So now we're going to do the operation. I've set this one up earlier on, but you just set this up how you're going to set the rest of the job up anyways. So then you're going to go resume operation or start operation. Tick, tick, swipe. Drone's going to take off and fly the load. So now we can see the drone's landed. It's gotten rid of that 60 kilos. So now what we're going to do is go back into the settings, back into the thing, spreading calibration, manual flight calibration, confirm. Then we're going to hit operation finished and next. And then it's got current screw feeder model, large obviously. And then the weight discharged on the last flight, we knew it was 60 kilos, and that's in grams. Always remember it's in grams, just because that'll catch you out if you're not careful. So now I've got 60,000 grams. Start calibration, and now it's just going to be thinking for a little bit. Calibration completed, and now that's done the manual flying calibration. So now from this load onwards in your operation, that calibration is going to be bang on. Yeah, if you have any questions, reach out to us. But other than that, we'll see you on the next one.